Aleichem. Seid pagrist
Shut up!
Das ist Eleanor Reissa. Ich will euch der Mann a paar Sachen eben mir heben. Koiden kol, vermach eure Zellkis. Vergesst nicht, euch mit tun nicht fotografieren oder rekordieren. Mit tun nicht. Mir wird euch reinwerfen in die Füße, ob ihr wird das tun. Euch, ob etwas schrecklich geschieht, puh, gut nicht wird geschehen, aber ihr sollt wissen, als ihr kickt zu der rechten Ort von der Biene, ihr könnt da rauslaufen und euch hinter das Theater. Nu, aber nur alles wird sein wunderbar. Sei gesinnt. Amen.
Ups, wart, ich hab den ganzen vergessen. A Maske. Chevre, ihr müsst trugen a Maske, wenn ihr seid innewenig. Ihr darft verdecken die Lippen in de Nues. Vergesst nicht de Nues. Wer soll können vergessen a Nues? Frag nicht. Das ist es. Ota soll, weil wir alle bleiben gesinnt und stark. Amen.
Welcome to Yidstock. I'm Eleanor Reissa. A few reminders before we get started. First of all, remember, turn off your cell phones. It's so distracting, don't you think? Also, photographing and recording are not permitted. We've thrown people in prison for less offenses. Emergency exits are located to the right of the stage and at the back of the theater, but don't worry, nothing's gonna happen. Be well. Enjoy.
I totally forgot. Friends. After being virtual the last few years, we are so grateful that we're together live at Yidstock. Yay. In order to be here, though, you must wear your mask indoors at all times. Please, over your mouth and your nose. Yes, your nose. No cheating, we can tell. We are together again, live at Yidstock. Hooray.
Eleanor Reissa! What's amazing is that every time you do it, it sounds exactly the same.
I'm a pro.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being at Yidstock, and in particular, thank you for being here this afternoon for this wonderful event. Eleanor Reissa, my friend, primarily, and colleague, performer, etc., had this wonderful memoir published earlier this year called The Letters Project, A Daughter's Journey. It's an amazing book. And so we're gonna, Eleanor's gonna read a little bit from it, and we may have a little chat about it, and then we will quickly turn and open the floor to your questions and comments. Then 2:15 sharp, we need to clear the room. You need to let Eleanor go first, and there'll be a book signing up by the bookshop. So please just let her get out of here and don't stop her to talk or ask questions. And all of that can happen if you are so disposed up there by the bookshop after we're done in here. So thank you again all for being here. And Eleanor, thank you for being at Yidstock again. It's not Yidstock without you.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm ready for you to read. You take it away.
Thank you, Seth, for having me at Yidstock. I'm gonna read a couple of excerpts, and I'll just tell you that in 1986, when my mother died, can you hear me? What is? I'm. Okie doke. Yes. So, because I can't hear it really either. So, in 1986, we're good now. My mother died. I found 56
letters in her lingerie drawer that were written in a language I wasn't sure about. Ultimately, I learned because it was written in longhand. I didn't know my mother spoke German. She spoke Polish, Russian, Yiddish, English, and they were written by my father, who she had divorced in 1961 or something. He was born in 1901. She was born in 1924. Or, you know, it's in the book. I can't really remember anymore. But so he died in '76. So she kept these letters, and letters were written in 1949. When my mother was in a DP camp, displaced persons camp in Ulm, Germany. My father, she, with her son from a first marriage and her parents, had fled Poland to Uzbekistan, where they spent the war years. My father was born in Poland, but went to make his way in the world and moved to Germany in 1918 or 19 when he was a young man. He had brothers who had also done so he went to do that, and married and had 2 children. You find out what happens to them in the book, but he was taken by the Nazis from Stuttgart in 1943. He managed to stay the hell out of a concentration camp until 43. And I didn't know I didn't know when he went to Auschwitz. I didn't know when he went to Germany. I didn't know things about his first family. I knew very, very little. He died in '76. Nobody talked much. So he lived through Auschwitz, lived through the Death March, and found his way to Stuttgart, where he met my mother, who was his cousin, not a first cousin, but it may explain things to you about me. And they wooed, and she got her visa for America in June or July of '49, and he had to wait till January of '50. So consequently, these 56 letters going from him to her, she kept them. She wrote him back, but of course he didn't save them because he didn't have the luxury to save letters when he was coming to America. So I'm going to start with a little bit of the first letter. And I didn't translate these letters until, I didn't have them translated until 2017. 30 years later. And you know, we can explain why, it's in the book, why, but okay. So this is the first letter that was translated by one of the 3 translators that I had. 24 July, 1949. My very dearest Ruchale, please don't cry, it has to be this way. I'm longing these several weeks now to talk to you so that I can find some peace. I was happy about your detailed letter, and I hurried to answer you so that you would have a sign of life in front of you, my love, as you begin your big journey. Yesterday I had a boring Sabbath except for the letter from you. It was very, very empty here. Write to me often, my beloved Ruchale, as this is the only one joy remaining for me, and we don't want to lose this. Please keep this last fragment of our lives safe. I don't want to overwhelm you with big letters, but they serve as a reminder that I am alive and that you are my only light. Send my warmest regards to your beloved parents and Shamale, her son. I am sending you greetings and kisses with all my heart from your loving Chaskel Schlisselberg. I read the letter again and again. I felt like the ground had opened up, and my father, who had been silent for over 40 years, was now speaking. Words of love, no less. His voice was unrecognizable to me. It was from a time long before he was my father. I only knew him during the last 20 years of his life, and just barely at that. By then, most, but not all, of the damage had already been done. I had believed that I was the daughter of an other, a never belonging, never accepted, factory working, illiterate in English, immigrant, greenhorn misfit. That's who I thought he was, and consequently from whom I was descended. I had never had any reason to believe otherwise. So the letters were translated. I'm so not sure how much to tell, but I guess I'll just keep reading and you'll connect the dots yourself. One of the translators, the most important translator, lives in Berlin, and Frank London and I went to do a concert in Berlin, and when I met with her, she said to me, you know, all the letters are addressed, have a Stuttgart address, the address, the location, the street, the phone number, and she said to me, you know, my brother lives around the corner from the address on your father's letters. I said, what? She said, yeah, and I'm going there in January. Do you want to go with me? What? I mean, I had no idea such a thing was possible, and ultimately, I decided to go. So the journey, in part, refers to that journey. So, time to leave. What to bring on such a trip? I decide to travel with carry-on luggage only. Really? For 3 weeks? I tell myself I want to do as little schlepping as possible. I remind myself over and over that people do wash clothes in their hotel room. Plus, I usually wear the same schmatas every day anyway. Please let me pack light, I say to myself as though there are 2 of us traveling. But I don't. I try to remind myself of the point of this trip. Why in the world am I going? I stop and think, what are you doing, Eleanor? Here's what I come up with time and time again. My parents have been dead for more than half of my life, more than 35 years. That's a long time to be without parents, without people who know you and love you and know where you came from, and without the unconditional love that only they could give. I miss them. I want to see them, be with them. That's why I'm going. I'm going to be where they were, where they lived, worked, made love, where they walked and wept and starved and froze. Maybe somehow I will see them, meet them there, find clues even after 65 years. Maybe. These letters are my treasure map. The X must mark the spot to somewhere, no? My mother kept these 56 letters written by my father for over 40 years for some damn reason, no? After their divorce, after his death, why? What did they mean? What was in them that was worth saving? And like her, I kept them too. For more than 20 years, untranslated, just lying in their baggie in my sloppy underwear drawer. For what? What should I do with them, my inheritance? Nothing? No. These letters are a message to me from beyond, from my father who wrote them, and from my mother who kept them, and now for me who will follow them. I tell stories for a living. As an actress, writer, singer, director, that's what I've spent my life doing, albeit in my own helter-skelter fashion. My work is an enormous part of who I am and I am my parents' daughter. So, if I don't find out who they were, how the hell will I know who I am? I'm going to pull on this thread for as long as it's got give and see where it takes me, my own DNA strand. I identify and always have as the daughter of Holocaust survivors. That is my gender, my invisible birthmark. This trip is about not letting the dead go gentle into that good night, about giving voice and life to those people, my parents, who had neither a voice nor a life, yet lived on this earth during such a dark, deadly time, and struggled and cobbled together a daughter, like dinosaur made out of chicken bones, whose own story and life is inexorably bound up in theirs, and theirs is still so unknown. Sometimes I wish I could forget about the Holocaust and just move on like everyone else, but I cannot. It's attached to me like my skin, and I would be formless without it. I am glued to the dark truth about the world that I cannot escape, its humanity as well as its cruelest inhumanity. Carry-on luggage? Forget it. Yeah, well, okay. So I'm going to skip to the kind of end, which when I first did talks about the book, I didn't want to reveal the end, kind of. But that's what everybody, it doesn't matter. So it's called The Takeaway. This is the chapter is called The Takeaway. It's more than 2 years since I was in Germany. Before I went there, I knew nothing. Now, I know a little bit more than nothing, but still not everything. The darkness that has been with me all of my days is clearer now, more defined, based on facts rather than shapeless shadows. The sources of my sorrow are labeled and filed and have a beginning, although not an end. That will die when I die. There is also a reawakened paranoia. My senses are more alert to nationalism and bigotry. The sound of marching boots and the smoke in the distance make me wonder about packing my bags and where and when to flee if the bastards get too close again. What means too close? I am witnessing history mutate and repeat so soon. Here are my takeaways. I am certain, even though I'm not a scientist, and even though I have done little research, that my own rage, of which there is plenty, and my existential fear and consciousness of death, and my sarcasm and greed and empathy, all of these things and more come directly from the womb in which I was born. My genes contain the chromosomes of memory, their memory, my parents' memory, inherited trauma. The chromosomes remember. The years of starvation, the years of freezing, the years of beatings, the constant flinching, waiting for the next blow, preparing for the pain, the trauma of being whipped on the block, the hiding and the smoking and the clipping of hair and sleeping on wooden shoes and the being secretive and being wily and being scared to death and scared of death. My radar is locked onto the stink of anti-Semitism and racism, as well as the cruel arbitrariness of extermination. A simple turn to the right or the left can hasten the end, or can equal the end. How can you ever be careful enough? Even as a young girl, I sensed death hiding in full view just around the corner. I used to joke that my mother had an expression. Every silver lining has a cloud. She never really said that, but that was how I felt. You can be happy, but don't be too happy, which she did say. Because evil and danger are ever lurking, waiting to pounce as soon as you let down your guard. That's one part of the takeaway, the part about me, about how and who I am and why. Is my anger and irreverence a bit more understood now? Forgiven? Gosh, I hope so. There is something else, though. Something I've been holding inside for these 2 years, waiting for this moment to say, here and now. I will repeat these words again and again until the very end of my days. My father and the others who lived and died during that time, in that place, were not survivors. No, I reject that term. Those people did not survive. Dogs survive. Cows survive. What those people did, all of them, not just the ones in the ghettos or the forests or the basements or the camps, was fight. They were fighters. Whether they lived or were killed, they fought. With every molecule of their breath and brain and brawn, they fought to live. With all of their might and heart and prayers and selflessness and selfishness and guns and books and pens and bread, they were Holocaust fighters, not survivors. In the cattle cars up the chimneys, in the attics and tunnels and sewers, they fought for their lives, for our lives, for my life. I am not the child of Holocaust survivors. No. I reject that passive, minimizing, head-bowing term. My father never bowed down his head, he said. Well, why should I? Why should we? Words count. I, Eleanor Reissa Schlisselberg, am the daughter of Holocaust fighters, courageous humans who fought the devil like hell for life to the death. Can you imagine if the world had called them Holocaust fighters? To have been the daughter of fighters rather than the daughter of survivors. I would have been Supergirl, for goodness sake. Strong and proud rather than an ashamed, hidden light. In its early days, the state of Israel marginalized Yiddish. In fact, there was a time that it was forbidden. It was considered a joke language, a language of the victim. It reflected a time of weakness when Jews went like sheep to the slaughter. From today's observatory, that looks like arrogance and gall. Perhaps it was just ignorance or blindness. The tenacity and resourcefulness of the Israeli rests squarely on the unacknowledged shoulders of those people who were hunted, starved, burned, shot, gassed. I spent my life as an embarrassed child of an other, of a man I perceived as a powerless victim with false teeth and a funny accent who accidentally had some good, horrible luck and lived. Sheep? No way. Tenacious. Instinctual, smart, brave, greedy to live. That is where I come from, who I come from, who so many Jews come from. Can this new perspective impact my life so late in the game? The thought of it makes me chuckle as I weep. What is the daughter of a Holocaust survivor entitled to? Nothing. Not a thing. Whatever I had was more than I needed and way more than they had. It was all gravy. My life was gravy, and that was enough. But the daughter of a fighter? What is the daughter of a fighter entitled to? Everything. Every damn thing. They fought for a full, rich, worthy life, and anything less is to spit in their sweet, loving faces. That is my inheritance. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Eleanor, for sharing that with us. I'm going to take the liberty of asking you one or two softball questions.
Swell.
Before we open the floor. At the risk of being somewhat redundant, but I think it's just taking what you just ended with one step further, I want to ask you, so you had your journey, and then you wrote your journey, and then we read the journey, so it's almost like a meta thing, like metafiction in a way, or meta memoir, really. But my question is, now that it's a book, how would you say you have changed? And you can talk about that either in emotional terms or tachlis terms, or however you want. What has this project left you with? Who are you now?
Well, it left me with me, didn't it? I mean, it left me with it's not such a softball question.
No, I was being sarcastic.
I mean, I wish it was a softball question. Here's what I think. I mean, it's complicated and complex, and I think that all my life I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be known, not famous, not for who I am, and who my family was. It was somehow very important to me for them to be known, because they were so unknown, and they were so valuable and valiant and, nuts, but not that nuts. But, and so I learned that I was a storyteller, oddly enough. I mean, I thought when I was first coming up in the theater, I thought, oh, I'm an actress. In English or Yiddish? I'm a singer. In English or Yiddish? I'm a director. In English, and people would say, well, what are you? You can't do all those things. We need to know how should we see you? How should we try to get you employment? And it was like, well, and it felt like a hindrance. It felt like a hindrance that I spoke Yiddish. It felt like a hindrance that I did more than one thing. So I learned that, a little late. It's all a little late, but it's fine. I learned that I'm a storyteller. I learned that, so my life has changed. I feel better about myself. I mean, I spent a life, let's say past 35, coloring my hair so that no one would know how old. I'm like out of the age closet. That's kind of how and it's a scary thing to do in my business. It's scary, now I get sent out as old woman. I used to get sent out, no one knew how old I was. How old is she? That would be the question after every concert. Seth, how old is she? Do you know how old she is? She looks so young, but she's talking like an old person. So now, I mean, it says. So I'm okay with myself now. My father, when I get stuck a little, I think about what he did and how he managed and how I feel the thread of the past. I feel like I'm here at this book center for, it's kind of beshert. I mean, when you think about how life goes, where life could have gone, what things could have happened, and I'm here, and I'm here not like as a weekend visitor. I'm here at home. You know, ich fühle sich wie bei sich in der Heim. It's a comfortable shoe for me here. And so I just feel like I can be myself, and I don't have to pretend to be younger or smarter or more this or less that. I mean, I'm still insecure and afraid, but I feel better about myself and everybody else. I'm less angry. I am less angry is the other thing, because I feel like I got mine. So you're going to read this, I mean, and you who kind of know me-ish a little bit anyway, but even friends who I know for 30 years, who I know since high school, didn't know my parents, didn't know where I came from, didn't know my father this and this and this and this, and my mother this and this and this. And I didn't know either that they this and this and this. So I'm not so angry, which is really a great thing, because I think I was very angry. So.
Okay. Eleanor, I've known you for a long time, and we are friends. And you are more you than you've ever been. And it's beautiful to see. And it's beautiful that it happened and that we're here. The other thing I want to ask, if it's I hope I'm not like violating. You told me something. It's not nothing weird, but it's kind of like a postscript. It's not in the book. It's something else happened recently.
Oh.
And that is that you have just recently gotten a German passport.
Get that. I don't mean get it. I mean, how do you like that? We'll come back to that, but what are you going to
Well, so my question is, that just seems like the cosmic irony.
Life is ironic. I mean, it's surprising and ironic. And like, what came out of this book? A lot. You know, my changes, I have something in a way that I'm kind of devoted to more than I'm devoted to myself, oddly. I mean, it's a little bit like my child, and I wanted to go to a good college, you know, and I'm working really hard, harder than I didn't really think it was going to be like this, to move the book forward. There's no review from the Times, there's no review from the Washington Post, and so, you know, pavola, la'at, slowly pushing my little Kindle forward, gay, and with the help of friends and with the help of people trying to get it out into the world. But so one of the other results of this, there was a woman who, many people helped me, including Seth. Many people helped me in different ways with this book. And on this trip to Germany, there were German people who helped me. And before this book, when the former thug was in power in the White House, I was very, 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 very frightened. I was frightened in a way, I saw no hope. And I tried to get a Polish passport because my family was Polish. And I thought, I can get a Polish, I just want to be able to get out of here. I didn't even know what that means, to get out of here. Really? You need a passport to get out? I didn't know, but I just thought about my father. And I thought he would be very angry if I smelled smoke after all his hard work to make me, that I should then not be smart enough to get the hell out of here. So that's what I thought. And I couldn't get a Polish passport. It was so complicated, even though I had papers and this and this. And then I became friends with someone that initially I didn't like in the book. I didn't like anybody. You know, I don't like anybody initially. I'm not like that now. But anyway, I didn't like her, and we, of course, became great friends. And she is a reporter in Stuttgart, and she knew I was trying to get citizenship in Poland and could not. And they just passed a law, I think, in Germany that says that Auschwitz people can get, even though you're not a citizen, you can get citizenship. So she helped me, and just last week I got a certificate and took a picture, and I thought, I'm a Jesus Christ, are you kidding? I mean, you know, because she called me and she said, oh, congratulations, now you're a German citizen. And I thought, oh no, but okay, congratulations. And yes, congratulations. So anyway, that's the post, that's unintended consequences of an action that you have no idea what's going to happen if you don't say yes to something. Wow. If you don't decide to investigate something.
We thank you for that. And now, sorry I ate up so much of your time, but we have time for a couple of questions. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Yes?
Yeah. Yeah. I've gotten, I just will say, I've gotten so many letters and from that say that, and also that I didn't ask my parents, I didn't know. But people have letters, and people with reparations, Germany has a really good record of how they got reparations and the testimonies that they gave and the things they had to prove, you know. So I just want to say, you know, you maybe can follow your own thread if you want. I mean, it's daunting-ish, but it exists if you're in the mood.
Yes.
Oh, she wants to know why do I know why my mother kept the letter? No. Why she kept them, why she didn't tell me. I really don't. I mean, I can make up a thing just like you. It wouldn't be any more valid. I have no idea why she kept them and didn't tell me she had them. She certainly had opportunity when he died, when she was sick. I mean, she had plenty of opportunity to say, I have these letters from your father. No, 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 no.
Yes.
So both of my parents were married before in Europe before the war. And each of them had a child or two. And what remains from those previous marriages now is my father's son, who was born in, he's 91 now, so he was born in 1931. He's 91. And my mother's son, he's 81. He was born in 1941. That's who I was referring to in the concert, because I said, you know, can you imagine being born in Poland in 1941? You know, where else might you want to not be born? The 81-year-old is in California, where he's lived for 40 years or so, 50 years, and the one in England, the one who's 91 was a kinder transport boy, and remains to this day in England. And hello, Eleanor, how are you? Happy Christmas, Eleanor. I mean, it's ironic, right? I mean, it's like, that's, and yet they're similar. And the one in California is religious. So, but they're both injured in they don't like each other, and they're both injured in a particular way. That's not in the book. It doesn't matter about them not liking each other. Don't say I told you.
Go ahead.
So the letters, are they archived? You know, I'm ashamed, but I'm consistent. They're not in my underwear drawer because I don't have really an underwear drawer. I mean, I do, but never mind.
Don't go
They're
there.
I mean, it's a sin. It's a sin. They're in a folder in my closet, in a paper folder in my closet. I'm overwhelmed. I can't do everything. I would like to give them somewhere, but I need help. I just need help. I stink at organization and stuff like that. I'm just awful at it. In terms of other formats of this, look, I could do a play. I thought it would be a play. That's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a one-person show or a three-person show. I think it's bigger than that. And if Netflix or HBO wanted to do a 6-part miniseries, that's good by me. I mean, you know, and we can discuss who is going to play Eleanor Reissa. Think about it, you know. But I'm right now. You know, as Seth told me when it was 3 or 4 months out, and I was depressed because the book was moving so slowly and not getting any action and not in any books. You know, I mean, and he said, you know, you have to wait a year before you get depressed. So I still have a few more months.
Speaking from experience, by the way.
before the big depression is coming, but then I'll do something. Then I don't know what. Right now, I'm just pushing it forward, and I'm I wouldn't mind somebody, I'm trying to find a film agent or a star or a, blah, blah, blah. But this is what it is now. And someone said to me, another person, sort of smart, said, listen, you just the letters that I get from people and things that people are saying are so, what more is there? I mean, I need some dope in the New York Times. Yes, I do, but I'm just not really, I mean, I wrote it so their story would be move forward and people would, so I'm good with that. So I don't know what's going to happen to it.
I know so many of you have questions, but we're out of time. And as I said, we're going to reconvene up at the bookshop. Eleanor, thank you so much.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, good.